Right, I've been falling a little bit behind with this, so without further ado, let's welcome somebody else on board the Lollujo party bus, or as one true nerd reckons we should call it, the Kevolution. Now, that will be the only time I ever say that on the channel, unless we get hundreds of you turn up in the comments telling me that that's a brilliant name. Otherwise, we're sticking with the party bus. But regardless of all that, the person who's got involved is, and I'm going to butcher your name, Yema84. I don't know. Regardless, you've backed the channel on Patreon, so you're supporting making all this wonderful stuff happen. Thank you very much for your support. If you'd like to join us on the aforementioned party bus, and you too can get involved in the Patreon at patreon.com/Lollujo. Hello and welcome to Season 9, Part 3 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against top-of-the-table Carlisle, runaway leaders Carlisle, and then away against my personal rivals, Northampton, who are down in a relegation battle. So, judging by previous form, there's every chance we'll lose both of these games. It's all been a little bit odd. We had that big 4-0 win in the last episode where we changed to the 4-3-3 system, but we then went and lost at home to Cheltenham playing that exact same system. Cheltenham were 23rd in the league when that game happened, but then we won our next two games, including against playoff rivals Colchester, before having a really toothless defeat away against Yeovil, who again, lower mid-table, we just didn't look in it. So it all seems very hit and miss whether this system works at the moment. A few of you have said to me we should take it off attacking. I'm not going to at the moment. Attacking, we've attacked everywhere we've been pretty much for the history of this channel, not just in FM17, not just on this save, pretty much everywhere we've ever been, and it's been a pretty successful year and a half. So we're going to keep attacking for the time being. If I get sacked again, having just been sacked by Tor, then it might be time to look for a complete rethink. Talking of being sacked and job hunting and all that, Southend, I have no idea what's gone wrong here. Last time we looked at them was when I was job hunting, and they were top of the league. Well, clearly something went wrong, because they have just plummeted and they've sacked the manager. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll already know this, but the man they've appointed as their new manager is my assistant manager. Callum Brooks was my assistant manager. He was the caretaker manager here at Blackpool before I took over. Presumably they must have headhunted him to be able to get him. We got a little bit of compensation for them taking him on. What I don't understand is why they didn't approach me. I said in the summer in the media that I wanted the job, and they've just passed me by completely and whipped my assistant manager out from under me, who's marched straight in there, and his first order of business was stripping Jonathan Benteke of the captaincy, which I know he's 30 now, but still, he's got to be a Southend legend by now. Let's have a look at the general what's it thing. I mean, he's still only favoured personnel. So am I. I don't know what you have to do to get a phone call from Southend when they're after a new manager. I'm on their favoured personnel list. What's Raquel Pike doing now? He's still at Kilmarnock. There you go. He managed to make a career of it. Look, he's scoring goals again, firing them to promotions. Isn't that nice to see? Forget Southend, though. We're focusing on Blackpool today. We are very much in with a shout of a playoff spot, although we are suffering a little bit because both our fullbacks are out. Williams is injured, McJanet is suspended, and Keith Shorthouse, who has been so instrumental in this new system, he's also picked up an injury and is going to be out for just this game, hopefully, but just this game is against the top of the league team. And if we look at that league table, we have dropped out of the playoff spots again, albeit only by 1 point to Doncaster, but there's a bit of a gap forming above them. We're kind of in a battle with Doncaster, Oldham, Wickham for the last playoff spot. There's only 7 games left, including this one. We're not going to get many harder games than this. So we need to be on our form today. And this is the team that is going to be able to do that. We're going to beat them. So we've got Davis in goal, a back four of Higham, McDonald, Baird and Sana, with the returning Mukhtar Ali, who's been injured for most of my reign at Blackpool, but he comes back. But we're not going to play him as a ball-winning midfielder, actually. We're going to do him as a defensive midfielder on support, because we switched to that part way through the last game against Yeovil, and that's when we started to get back into the game. Deli, Bashiro and Riley are in the centre of midfield with Fleming and Dorsey, the wide men. Dorsey coming in for the injured Shorthouse. That's his name, isn't it? Shorthouse, yeah. And then Brock Madsen continues up front because he's our only striker, so we have to keep playing him. Obviously, Carlisle are favourites for the match. They're 8 points clear at the top of the league at the moment, so we are going to have to be at our absolute best to come out of this game with anything close to the result that we need, really, as we get towards the business end of this season. And certainly the big thing I'm noticing since we've switched to this new system is we're much iffier at home than we are away from home. I'd be much happier if this game was away from home, but with 21 minutes on the clock, Claudio Dorsey has put us 1-0 up, drifting in off that right wing the way Shorthouse does so well. He's playing as a winger, not as an inside forward, but he clearly doesn't care, and he's just been watching what his buddy's been up to. And Fleming whips the cross in. I don't know where Brock Madsen is. I guess that's him hovering in the middle there, distracting one of the defenders. And Dorsey, in space, drifts in off the right wing. We're 1-0 up against the top of the table team. Doncaster must also be winning their game because it's not enough at the moment to move us back into the playoff spots, but obviously does show just how crucial it is that we do come out today with a result, because if we don't, that gap between us and Doncaster is going to grow. Bristol Rovers and Barnet both seem to have been pulled into our little chasing group, so whether they're both having poor games themselves or if it might just be that us and Doncaster are both ahead in our games and they're still level in theirs, but it's not looking too shabby at the moment. And Deli Bashiru in again, should have scored. That was our best chance of that first half, and it's not the one that we scored. And hopefully we're going to go in still 1-0 up. We just need to keep doing what we're doing in this second half. Carlisle are obviously going to come out on a mission now. They've been in rather good form all season, and they've got Burton Albion breathing down their necks. Looking at that league table, they're only 5 points clear of Burton as it stands today. So it's not a case of they're so far clear at the top that they don't need to worry about what goes on. Losing games like this will hurt them just as much as losing it would hurt us. So that it's not going to be a case of them sitting back and thinking, it doesn't really matter, we're going to win the league anyway. Brock Madsen has not turned up today, so Talmash is going to come on. And we're also going to take off Deli Bashiro and bring on Bruno Lorenzo, who has been in the team pretty much every game since we arrived, really. But did have a slight knock, which moved I think he missed the last game because of it, although he's basically back to full fitness today. Don't really know why I didn't start him. Probably forgot he existed. Right, Lorenzo plays it through to Dorsey. I mean, it was aimed at Talmash, I think, but he couldn't chase and get there. But Dorsey again flying in off that right wing. And now McDonald gets a good chance from the corner and it goes wide. We've now had 2 clear-cut chances. They've yet to create one. If we don't end up winning this game now with 15 minutes to go, we are going to be kicking ourselves because we should be winning, and now they've hit the post. I've tempted fate now with my talk of winning the game. And we might have to, let's have another little tweak. We've got so little in the way of strength in depth. Tweaking is always a little bit difficult. I think what I'm going to do is bring on Joe Lambert for Fleming, just because Lambert has looked impressive when he's played. He comes in off that left wing really well, even when he's playing as a winger, and causes a nuisance of himself. Lorenzo looked like he was brought down in the area there, but what's actually happened is Carlisle have had a break on and Davis makes a good save. I don't like playing against teams that have got 3 up front, and that's a cheeky little corner, but luckily we're wise to it. And somebody, I didn't even see who that was, threw themselves in front of the ball there to deflect the shot out for a throw-in, and we're into the final 30 seconds of the game. We just need to hang on at this point, but Carlisle are coming at us again. Somebody just slide in and burst the ball, break the player. Oh, they have just had a golden opportunity to equalise. It goes flying over the crossbar and it's the last kick of the game. We finish things off still outside the playoffs, but such a crucial win. So if we hadn't have picked up the 3 points today, that gap starts to become unassailable with 6 points to go. But what we've actually done is we've pulled away from Oldham a little bit, and we are now chasing 2 teams. Both Doncaster and Bristol Rovers are catchable. Colchester maybe even as a push, and we've already beaten Colchester on this run that we've been on. Oh, it's game on, boys and girls. Right, promotion, playoff issues aside, this is one of those games that me personally, as a Peterborough United fan, has to win. We're away against Northampton. it's going to be a challenge playing in front of a ground that looks like it's been built out of Lego. But, you know, what can you do? We've made a couple of changes to make sure... Well, I say a couple. Yeah, it is a couple. Lorenzo's come back into midfield and McJanet comes back in at left back. Other than that, we are unchanged from the team that so successfully dealt with Carlisle. Northampton played midweek and lost against Wickham, I think it was. So they've played and lost more recently than we've been involved in a match. So we should be fitter, we should be more confident. We just need to go there and absolutely batter them and not be put off by the fact that we're playing in front of one of those Subbuteo stands, which if you don't Google it, stands that you get for Subbuteo, they've basically got one of them on each side of the pitch at North. If you're a Northampton fan, I'm sorry, not because I'm dissing your club. I'm just sorry because of the poor life choices that you've made. Right, come on, let's go and grab a go. All of this smack talk guarantees they're going to beat us today as well, and that's the most painful thing. That's why I have to get the jabs in early, because it's not as much fun when you're losing. Right, let's come on, lads. We need to be ahead by this point. There's only 5 games to go after this one. We need to be pushing ourselves back into that playoff picture today. Wickham are absolutely breathing down our necks as well. I mentioned that they beat Northampton midweek. They're level on points with us at the moment. Notts County are right there behind us as well. It is so tight in the competition for these playoff places. We just cannot afford to slip up at this point. And Brock Madsen, inside the 6-yard box, decides to head it back across goal rather than just going for goal himself. He is our only striker. He really needs to become a little bit more ruthless and just go for goal when the situation requires it. I don't remember him scoring since his little burst when we first joined the club, and Lorenzo has just absolutely smashed that into what we're going to call the top corner, regardless of what we see on this replay. But he has hit that with some welly and comes across to Deli Bashiru, who in lots of space, there you go, it was the top corner as well. Lorenzo absolutely smashed it. He scored a penalty like that for us a few games ago as well, in one of the games you lot didn't see. He has got a pretty firm shot on him when the mood takes him, and the mood took him today, and it put us 1-0 up. That moves us all the way up to 6th place if everything stays as it is. So Bristol Rovers and Doncaster would drop all the way down to 9th, so presumably both Bristol Rovers and Doncaster are losing, and Dorsey's just hit the post. I'm too busy looking at the league table. I'm getting so excited I can feel my voice disappearing from me again. I don't know whether we should be looking up or down in this table at the moment, because we've been focusing on Doncaster for so long, but as it stands right now, we're as close to Barnet in 4th place as we are to Doncaster, but forget all that because we've just conceded, and that changes everything back round again. Presumably, as a result of this, we drop back out of the playoffs, or do we manage to hold on to 7th place? And Davis really should have done better with that. Right, we've still got half an hour. There's still time. So we are still in the playoffs as of right now because of Doncaster losing. We're ahead of both Wickham and Doncaster on goal difference. We're on exactly the same points as both of them. Right, Shorthouse is fit again. This is, I didn't even notice that. I let the assistant manager pick the substitutes. Did not even notice he was back. Let's get him on. Get him back to being an inside forward again and give him half an hour just to do something special for us. And by something special, all he needs to do is score 1 goal. That'll do, as long as we don't concede another one along the way. We've just got to beat Northampton. It's a very important issue for me. Jack Baird, he tried to leave in the transfer window, and we said no because we thought we'd need him. He has not had a good game since I've been at this football club. It might be time to give up with him. The only problem is he's officially our only decent centre-back, which is why we didn't sell him, and he got a grump on in the first place. Come on, lads, 5 minutes. We've got to grab a goal. We are attacking. Talmash finds Lorenzo. I thought he was going to do it again. You could hear the chair creaking. I was going to fall off this chair if he did it again. That would have been phenomenal. Lorenzo again picking the ball up deep. Tries to find Shorthouse out wide. This time it does come to Shorthouse. Fleming is in, and it goes over the crossbar. We've had 3 clear-cut chances today. Northampton have had none. We have dominated this match, and we're being mugged. We've been mugged with a draw. But luckily, with 5 games to go, we're still in the playoff picture, and that ultimately is all that matters at this point. We're going to play a couple more games offline, and then I'll be back tomorrow with those last 2 games of the regular season, and look who they are against. Wickham and Doncaster. Just as a reminder, Doncaster, level on points with us. Wickham, 2 points behind us. What a massive episode we've got coming up tomorrow to hopefully secure a playoff spot and try and force our way back up into League One at the first time of asking. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.